Hello, and welcome to the Aligned Actor Podcast. I'm Amy Schlurb, your friendly fellow actor and mindfulness and mindset coach. And this is the podcast where I share practical mindfulness tools and mindset shifts to help us all thrive in our full actor lives. Because actor life is a roller coaster. We know this, friends. It is full of ups and downs. It is full of twists and turns. Sometimes there are full-on loop-de-loops, and we're like, what the heck just happened to me? And the only way that we will survive this profession long term is if we take care of ourselves, take care of our nervous systems, and find effective ways to handle all of the stress that the entertainment industry loves to throw our way. So in this episode, we are going to talk about mindfulness misconceptions, because unfortunately, there are some ways that the mass media and pop culture talk about mindfulness that are just not all that helpful for beginners and can lead to a lot of unnecessary frustration as you're starting to practice. Because when I first started learning meditation, I would get the, not just mindfulness, but just guided meditations, or I would try to just do it on my own, and people would be like, just tune into your breath. And I was like, okay. And I would get super frustrated with myself because I would try to stay focused on my breath, but that was really hard. And my mind always seemed to be racing with thoughts. And then I would heap all this judgment and shame on myself. And I'd be like, ugh, why am I so bad at this? My mind keeps thinking and I'm supposed to clear my mind. And what's wrong with me? And I can't do this. But when I actually took the time to take a course on mindfulness and actually study it and get my certification in being a practitioner of mindfulness, I learned that clearing my mind wasn't actually required. There was really nothing to do in mindfulness meditation except notice my experience with kind curiosity. And coming to that realization was incredibly freeing. I started to understand that the main thing that was tripping me up was that I was judging myself as I was practicing. And one of the key factors to mindfulness is about, even if your mind is wandering, being kind to yourself. And also learning that it was no big deal that my mind was wandering and that was expected, and that all I had to do was sort of notice, oh, my mind wandered. Okay, that's fine. Let me just go back to my breath. And then you just do that over and over and over again. And it was no big deal if you had to do that 1,001 times in one session. That was the practice. And that was it. And that was so freeing. And so it took off all this pressure to get mindfulness right when I realized, oh, there really isn't as much of a right or wrong here. And I can really relax about this. And that helped so much. So hopefully talking through some mindfulness misconceptions will help you relax and feel more empowered in your practice too. So the first mindfulness misconception I have for you is you have to completely clear your mind. Nope. In mindfulness meditation, your brain is going to continue doing what it does, keeping your body alive and processing your experience. Focusing on your breath gives your mind a simple present moment task, but the brain is going to brain. Thoughts are going to come up. We're going to notice distractions, and that's no big deal. You're not failing if your mind doesn't suddenly become a blank void. The second mindfulness misconception relates very much to the first one. You're failing if you have thoughts. Again, no. You're just becoming an intentional, kind, and curious witness to whatever's happening in your present moment. And that might be a lot of mind chatter. Thoughts are just a part of your present moment. And the key is to notice them without engaging with them. Just watch them. Just watch them come and go. The third mindfulness misconception, a good meditation is when your mind is quiet. Honestly, I don't think there is such a thing as a good or bad meditation. Maybe you find it more peaceful and relaxing when your mind isn't as busy with thoughts, But your mind state is not a mark of success or failure. It just is what it is. That's what's happening in your present moment. The flip side of this, another misconception, a bad meditation is when your mind is busy. Again, your mind state is not a mark of success or failure. Just that your mind is busy. As my kid once said, I have a lot of brain going on. And sometimes that's what's happening. In our present moment. The fifth, I think, misconception I want to talk about, you have to meditate for a long time. I practice mindfulness meditation for 10 minutes each day, and later in this series, I will teach you a technique that takes less than 1 minute. So if you think, I don't have the time, and that's your biggest barrier to practicing mindfulness, I got news for you. You're going to have to come up with another excuse to not do it. You're going to have to think again on that one. And the last mindfulness meditation I want to take you through is you have to meditate in a specific way, or even at all. There are mindfulness gurus out there who will try to convince you that you have to meditate in specific ways, usually using their expensive mindfulness tracks. I am not one of those teachers. There are so many ways to access the present moment, and what matters is finding a way that works for you. There's so many different ways to practice mindfulness, to practice meditation. Figure out a way that works for you and that where you're getting the most benefit out of the practice. Additionally, informal mindfulness also counts as practicing mindfulness. So you don't have to sit quietly and close your eyes. You can practice mindfulness while eating. You can practice mindfulness while washing your hands. You can practice mindfulness while cooking. You can pretty much practice mindfulness doing anything. You're just tuning into your present moment. And you're always doing something in your present moment, or you could be potentially doing something in your present moment. And that is still a wonderful time to practice mindfulness. So remember our simple definition of mindfulness, a special way of paying attention to the present moment with kind curiosity. Do you see any of these misconceptions in that definition? Because I don't. So stay with this definition and gently, kindly, and maybe even curiously let go of any other ideas that you may have picked up about mindfulness that don't fit with this. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this content helpful and inspiring, I would be so grateful and happy and honored if you'd leave a comment, leave a review of the podcast, share this content with your actor pals. That would be so wonderful. I hope more actors can get into mindfulness. That's my goal here. And check out my offerings below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.